Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Yeah, welcome to Drinkin' Bros, kids. One of our old school homies is on the show today. Jonathan Kite, how are you?
Good, buddy.
It's always a blast.
It's always great to be here. Old school homies.
Yeah, you got a standing res on this show,
dude. I gotta get a chair that like is at my. You know when you go in and you have your own settings in someone's like car.
Yeah.
I gotta have this setting on this where I just plop in the Kite setting.
We got to put in the Kite setting, and then you're good to go.
Good to go.
Or we should put like a caricature of you, like at the Palm. You know, when you go and eat at the Palm, like that's the dream. Are you on there? I'm not on there. I'm not on any of those restaurants.
The only thing that I got close to, I got it my face up at my dry cleaners. They have my headshot.
Shit.
I was in a bunch of Chinese restaurants, but like Michael Scott for stealing food.
It
was just a Polaroid. Don't serve this person.
At the post office.
Yeah.
A wanted poster.
Yeah. And then right outside of the Capitol building as well.
Yeah, that was for J6.
Yeah. But your face is written into the cement. Yeah. They were laying it down. Like, here we go.
I got my Hollywood star, but it's outside the Capitol.
Just handprints.
Basically a wanted poster.
Can't get his fingers out of him.
Let me ask you about the dry cleaner, though. Did they ask you for it, or did you volunteer it? I know a lot of friends who have volunteered their shit.
I've done a lot of embarrassing things in my life, and this is not one of them. They asked me for it. I always wanted a sandwich named after me too.
Yeah,
but that was, I felt very honored, and so I had that up.
Who's your favorite sports team?
Probably
Lakers.
No, never.
You're a Giants guy, right?
No,
Giants?
never.
What do you got?
Chicago Bulls. I'm from Chicago.
Okay.
So the Bulls always, but I grew up watching the Duke Blue Devils for college basketball. A lot of those guys come from Chicago. Krzyzewski's from Chicago. John Shire, head coach, went to Glenbrook North, which is where my cousin went in the area that I'm at. So probably Chicago Bulls and Duke Blue Devils.
Is it Cameron Indoor?
Yeah.
That's the name?
Yeah.
Certainly we can get a fucking Jonathan Kite sandwich.
Yeah, somewhere in Durham.
Yeah.
Please.
What's your favorite sandwich place there?
In Durham?
Yeah.
I just eat whatever they're serving at the Coach K Court.
Jimmy John's.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Subway.
Yeah, we got to do it, dude. We got to get your own Subway
Look into
sandwich,
camera.
dog.
Look into camera and say eat fresh.
Hey, Durham, eat fresh.
Because you're on the.
And I haven't touched any kids
yet.
Not yet.
Well, hey,
yet.
I needed the camera on me as you said yet, so that my mouth wasn't moving during that.
We have seen you in a lot of commercials though recently. Fucking A, they play. What's the one?
Volkswagen.
Yeah, over
Volkswagen.
and over and over
It's
again.
just you being a cunt. Honestly,
It's so funny, dude.
It's not
really
even a
good.
commercial. They just caught me on a day out.
Hey, we're going to pay somebody $15,000 to just follow John around for a couple days, and we'll use that footage.
The craziest thing is, so they test commercials in 16 or 13-week cycles, pardon me. So it played a lot during college basketball, and then it did well, so they did NBA Finals, and then it did well, so now it's in football.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's everywhere, and my kid is at the age, my oldest, he's 8, where he starts pointing at people on TV. He's like, hey, do you know this person? Do you know this person? And that guy goes, do you know that mean guy right there? And I go, oh, boy, actually I do.
Well,
I do. And he goes, I don't want him over at the house.
Your
and I was
son
like,
said that?
Yeah. And
He's
he goes,
a piece of shit. Are we rolling?
Yeah.
He is a piece of garbage, is what I want to say. And unrelated to that comment.
But I always thought it would be funny to show up with you and just be like, I'm just hiding in his bedroom, put him up for 9-9, and then boom, you pop out.
Hold on. We just said that I don't touch kids.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to touch the
You're
child.
like, just hide in his bedroom.
It doesn't seem like a great idea.
Yeah,
to have
don't
a
say
grown
pop
man.
out at him, okay? And Ross has his own Subway.
He's got a franchise.
Yeah, he does.
Sure do.
Yeah.
Eat fresh.
It's only extra meats.
Yeah, it's all it is.
They only come in the 5 inches. No, dude. The funny thing about that commercial was they literally didn't. I didn't know what it was going to turn out to be. It was the staff was amazing. Like the crew was fucking incredible. But they just said, just be on your phone and just go through these motions.
Yeah, the only time you ever actually interact with somebody is in the crosswalk where you look at that car and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But everything else, you could have just been doing anything.
Dude, they were literally just like, focus on your phone and walk, and then they would have things go on around me that I was not really aware of.
That's funny.
It's great.
Yeah. Either way, it's killing. It's good to see you everywhere. I follow your Instagram as well.
How am I doing?
You're doing great. I like your content versus a lot of people's content where it feels like I feel like a lot of comedians, they've got to jam it out every 3 hours where it's like, man, if I don't hit that algorithm, if I don't do this
Wowzers,
thing.
are you right?
Yeah.
They say, so like in the biz, B-I-Z, if you're doing closed captioning, that you have to post like 2-3 times a day on Instagram.
Yep.
That's like what's recommended, because like the agencies, they do all these breakdowns for analytics. Like you guys, like I was just listening to the last pod about how much that matters.
Yeah.
And it's insane how much that you have to post so that you can keep catching the algorithm every time. And like TikTok, it's like I think between 4 and 8 times a day.
Is it really?
I'm not. I mean, I have an account, but I don't do anything with it. So
Well, for you, I was going to say, like, you're at the point now in the level where it just doesn't really matter. But if you're a new up-and-comer, because we've got a guy that we love, Mike Eaton.
I love Mikey, and I did his podcast yesterday.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Shit. Highly Social? Yeah. He's on the network?
Yes.
Love him. Is he here right now?
No, I just meant
Oh, good.
was
Fuck
pointing
him.
to where I was Babe Ruthing it.
Oh, you were?
From the
Okay.
past. I was like, I was there before.
Yeah.
Cubs fan.
But with him, I was talking to him about it, and I go, hey, bro, I hate to say this. You're so fucking funny, but I was like, you've got to up your social media game. I'm like, you're not famous enough yet. And I was like, you've got to be posting shit all the time. And he's just like, man, I would rather just work on my craft.
It's like it is. It's a completely different job. And I don't know who is famous enough, because if you see somebody who in R&B, I'm trying to think of like Doja Cat or whatever, she's on there all the time, and you're like, well, Doja Cat is famous enough, but she is still. So you're even competing with people who are at an expected level of fame where they can like not retire from social media, but pass it off or whatever.
Yeah.
And you just can't do that.
Like The Rock. I follow The Rock just because I want to see what he ate all day long. I mean, that motherfucker will post to the second. Like, you know where he is, what he's done all day.
Yep.
Videos of him working out at midnights, his cheat meals on
I think
Sundays.
it's all fake. I think he's got a couple of body doubles, and he's probably like, he wakes up at noon. This is all bullshit. He wakes up at noon, but the other dude has already worked out for the day. He's doing like 3 workouts a day. He's actually got 3 dudes each doing
It's
one
like the
workout a day.
president, where they have like, they have doubles.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's just a bunch of rocks. Collectively, they're the rock pile.
Yeah,
Well, we need to start looking at his earlobes. That's the best way to identify a person, right?
It is, yeah.
It's the one thing you can't really fake non-surgically.
Yeah, is an earlobe. Yeah, he's killed a lot of people, so obviously we know this. But with you guys, like you, Jamie Foxx, I know we always talk about Jamie Foxx every time you're here.
I love
Jamie
him.
Foxx just kind of posts like cool shit that he does.
He is everywhere. He's everywhere. I just found out, and by the way, I'm not brand affiliated with this, but TGA Fridays, if you're listening, and we hope you are, he's now with TGA Fridays.
Pushing pea skins, man.
Is he really?
Bro, he's like
pushing peas?
No, he's I don't know. I can't speak on the pee pushing.
Sure.
But he has brown sugar bourbon, which is his alcohol,
Yep,
and
yep.
they're now serving it there, and they have brand cocktails
With
brown sugar bourbon. I'm like, dude, this is killing it.
I know. And he's got the sunglasses, the whole thing.
Did you
Trudeau.
hear? This is rhetorical, but you've obviously heard the Trump impression.
Yeah.
Might be the best one that exists.
Because we've said on this show, you weren't here, but we said on this show, we were over Trump, right? He's got a Trump. You were our favorites, and we're like, look, after Jonathan Kite, I'm all good on everybody else's Trump impression.
Yeah.
No lie, because we're on every day. The next day, I see the post of Jamie Foxx doing the Trump impression, and that sounded better than Trump himself, and I lost my shit, and I was like, when the fuck did this guy have time just to sit down and learn a Trump impression? It's unbelievable.
He sounds incredibly accurate.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing, yeah.
For him, though, it's almost like not even comedic. It's almost not even a caricature. It sounds like the motherfucker.
Oh, dude, it's crazy.
If you could, it's almost indistinguishable.
Well, also, I think part of it is so cool about it was he's doing it at a couch.
Yeah.
He's just talking, and then they just go, what would Trump? And then he just goes into it in a very conversational way.
Yeah.
And what I love about the impression is that because Trump has gone through, when somebody's around long enough, they become a caricature themselves, right? Like Al Pacino, Chris
Kevin
Walken,
Costner. You become the Wild West guy.
100%. And so, especially with the way that people do impressions of you, so when people do Pacino, they can do one impression over 40 years or 50 years or whatever. Exactly.
Yeah.
They pick their favorite version and then they just do that. With Trump, because he's been around in the public eye so much, you don't really see someone who isn't. I mean, he is a celebrity in that sense. He's a caricature of himself now, and now because of where he's at, he's conversational Trump.
Yeah.
Because he's not at those rallies anymore. He's not screaming. he's being very one-on-one, and that's what Jamie's impression was for me.
Correct. And I thought the same thing. Bob, did you pull it up? Is it called the Foxx Rocks?
Yeah, so it's Foxx on the Rocks barbecue sauce.
Yes.
Jamie Foxx is currently gracing. This is above the fold front page TGI Fridays.
Can we
website.
get an applause for that? Can we get some applause for that?
Well,
That's amazing.
Who do you
there.
think's
There
more
go.
famous, TGI Fridays or Jamie Foxx? Because people in China don't know
Boy.
what TGI Friday is.
Whose
Because
food do
they're-
you trust? I'll bet Jamie Foxx's food is better.
I bet
He's
it is
from
too.
Texas, so the barbecue
He is
probably
Terrell,
good.
Texas.
Yeah.
You can get it on ribs, steak, and wings.
Well, I can get it on whatever the fuck I want because this is America.
Yeah, I can put it. I can
Understand?
pour it
Don't
all
tell
over
me
your
what I can
ding
put
dong,
barbecue
dude.
sauce
I'll take
on.
it on the rocks.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
will literally take it over ice.
Just put it in a highball glass and I'll drink the whole thing.
My God, dude. So he's got barbecue sauce, sunglasses, a whiskey. Anything else that guy has?
Man, he's got to have something else, right?
I don't know. I feel like every celebrity though has got like 80 different
Well,
things.
he is a producer. I know that he produces a lot of shows. Like he has that show $1 Million Wheels.
Yep.
With our boy RD, and
That show crushes too.
it did very well. It was up for, I believe, it was up for an Emmy this year in its
Yeah.
first season.
Yeah.
Wait, it's a show about cars,
About
Yeah, yeah.
high-end cars,
and
yeah.
it was up for an Emmy. Those
for a
shows-
reality show.
For a reality show. It's shot
those-
really well.
Those kind of like and house and all that shit based reality shows, they don't really win Emmys.
I don't know that it won. I mean, and maybe I'm wrong. And if it wasn't nominated, it should have been. But that guy is so interesting in the cars that he has out. It's like they're tricked out. Like it's like Fast and Furious. Everything.
Is he going to have Exhibit on as like a guest host at any point?
No, so with Exhibit, they're
Because
actually
he's trying to get back into it, right?
He is, and he wants to. He's like, pay me, dude.
That show
and
was
MTV doesn't pay.
That show
they don't pay
was
money.
fucking incredible.
and so entertaining.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was not informative in any way.
No.
You're not going to learn anything from that show.
Those
but it
show
was-
cars were not street legal.
Yeah.
No.
They
he-
went this shit the moment they handed them over to the people. You know that they were like, there's one with like an aquarium in the back. I'm like, that
Oh,
fish
yeah.
is dead.
There was one with a Olive Garden salad shooter that was popping out shit, and you were just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I remember
It was-
one. I think the lady had like a Volkswagen Beetle or something, and he put a hair washing station in the front.
Yeah.
He
Some
absolutely
shit.
did.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck, man?
Yeah, dude,
but it was
these are-
hilarious.
But it was great television, and we're still talking about it.
To this day, and even like TMZ the other day, they found him outside of a restaurant, and he was like, "Look, I'd love to go back and do it. They won't fucking pay me." But
MTV?
MTV,
Yeah, they're
won't.
famous for not.
Yeah,
for
they don't
not
pay
paying
shit.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been on a few MTV shows, right?
You know what's crazy is the closest I ever got was
Weren't
we
you on the
tried to
Nick Cannon
sell-
thing?
I didn't do Wild and Out, but we did a prank show that was unreal. That was I don't even remember the name of it. It was 20 years ago. We tried to sell it. That the closest we ever got was we had a deal set with MTV where we had a group of improvisers to go do a scene out in public, and we would always let the public like come to us. So we were never pranking them like Punked, where you like you target somebody. We would set up a scenario, and the public would involve themselves, not knowing that it was a thing, and we would just take advantage of it.
And it never got picked up.
It never got picked up. It got I think as close as we could have gone. They maybe ordered a pilot from us, and then it never went to series. But it was so fucking fun.
Did you ever do any of those in Hollywood back in like the 2010s? I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but it was a bunch of actors would get together and they would do a live performance of a script that never made it to TV. Right?
Oh yes. Shit.
I saw Adam Scott and a bunch of people do one night.
It was on a Tuesday nights. It's on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
Fuck, dude.
It was something pilot or
Yes.
something rejected or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
I don't
Yeah,
know what it was.
rejected scripts.
There's something like that.
Yeah,
maybe,
And it was every Tuesday night, and they would go and do it. And there
It
was,
was
another.
awesome.
There was another night too where they actually showed the pilots.
So that I've seen it in a silent movie theater. They showed 3 pilots that never made it to air, and one of them was the one with Owen Wilson and Jack Black.
That's the one I saw.
Where the fucking motorcycle.
Yeah,
talks.
yeah.
Yeah, famously. But there was
Wait, where the
crazy.
motorcycle talks?
Talks.
So it was like
Talks.
Herbie the Lug Bug, but with
It was like Knight Rider.
and it was Jack Black doing the voice.
How did that not get picked up?
It was.
Dude.
It was weird.
I mean, there was you look back at Fox in the late '90s or early '90s. They picked up so many shows. What was it called?
Which I don't that
it was called Heat Vision.
yeah,
and
Heat
Jack,
Vision and
maybe?
Jack. That's what it was.
Yeah. I saw it. I was there.
It was insane. And then
I mean,
had,
they canceled fucking Family Guy.
I
for a
know,
couple
and
of
Arrested
years.
Development.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
They-
they were doing some risky shit back in the day. One of my favorite shows was the Ben Stiller show on there. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Of course.
And that was a really fun, edgy sketch show where you're like, oh, shit. I can't believe Fox would pick
Well,
this
the
up.
rub on them, and I think fans of Arrested Development will remember David Cross's like epic rant about this shit. But it's like we're winning every award. The fan base is talking about it. It's all of his before social media, but like there's a lot of traction behind the show. And Fox executives are like, we don't understand why there's not more viewers. Like, how about you spend some money advertising the goddamn show or something, man?
Dude, I did the Jamie Foxx sketch show, and they didn't advertise it. People were like, we haven't seen when it's going to be on, and then suddenly it was on.
Yeah.
That should be the biggest show in the world.
It was
because Saturday
crazy.
Night Live is not a thing anymore, right?
Well, I wonder this year if people are going to watch it more than anything because 8 of the I'm going to hopefully get this right, of the core cast left.
Gone, yeah.
So they have it's the biggest turnover they've had, I think, since Will Ferrell came in 95.
It is. I'm glad you brought that up because I wondered, and I said this to my wife, I wondered if they had called you or just kind of reached out to people who were actually great at doing impressions again and things like that. Because to me, back in the day, I don't know if you auditioned for it, but you audition, and then once they say no, you can never go back, right? But I think now
it's different for everyone.
It should be different, where it's like, hey, dude, we're desperate at this point. Let's pull all the top talent on the internet and get these motherfuckers on. Have you do 1 million impressions every single week and bring it to what it used to be back in the 90s.
Well, I think first of all, I think it's different for every cast member, like how they got on, and some people auditioned and then didn't get it, and then like 2 years later, they just got a call saying, if you're available, we'd love to have you on the show, and then they didn't audition that year. So I think there's no consistency with like the folklore that sort of exists behind the scenes. But I will say, the Saturday Night Live, the fact that we're still talking about it is crazy because you think about all the podcasts and things that go on during the week. We're there on maybe 20 weeks out of the year, not even like a 24 episode thing like TV's really cut down, but also the Tonight Show, the Daily Show. There's all these other things that are covering the same topics that they're covering 5 nights a week, and they only get to Saturday at the end.
Right.
So I mean, the tough thing about it is, also there's a rumor going on that if you've ever done anything else after Keenan, like they don't want people that have ever been on anything. So like that's why you've seen a lot of these super unknown people because they want the opportunity to break them, to be like announce them to the world.
Any
It's
idea?
always been that way though. The only person I've ever seen on Saturday Night Live where I was like, whoa, what are they doing on here? Was Amy Poehler.
Michael McKean.
Oh, and Michael McKean.
Dude, there was
randomly,
there's actually, well, hold on. They went through because
the 80s. Remember the 80s? Anthony
80s.
Michael Hall, Robert Downey Jr. They were all on there.
Dude, Randy Quaid, Ben Stiller. I mean, obviously, famously, people did other things, but there was a lot of people at the time, and I think that they were just trying a bunch of new things out. I think it's easier when you see the reason they try to get people unknown because they don't have anything associated with them. So if you're going to play the president, like they got the guy James Austin Johnson who does Trump for them, personally, Alec Baldwin. I don't know where he is right now, probably at a gun range.
Whoa,
but it's like,
whoa. You didn't hear?
No, what happened?
Oh, they got the money today, friend. The Santa Fe police or whatever, the county.
Yeah?
They asked for the money to do 4 separate trials, and they're not saying what it is, but it's all related to that case. And he's selling all of his fucking property right now. So I don't know what's going to happen, but every house
that
he
came
has
out today.
Today, and I just read it this morning.
He's probably going to
before we
move
got
to
here.
Panama, I guess, right?
I don't know what he's going to do.
If I was that rich and I heard any rumblings about any kind of shit like that, I would be out.
Yeah.
You would never fucking see me again.
So today they announced that, and his house listed in the Hamptons for $29 million. That's gone. Another place is gone at the lake up there. He sold 4 houses, I think, in the last month. So I think he knew what was coming.
He and I have a timeshare together.
Do you?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
It's a Discovery Zone in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Not great.
No,
make a call real quick.
Good.
But all I was going to say, people look at him real quick, and they. That's why I didn't like. I think I'm a fan of Alec Baldwin as an actor. I didn't like his Trump because it felt a little bit like, I like when people are children, like Pete Davidson, and they're making fun of the establishment. That's what original SNL was, Bill Murray, Gilda Radner, stuff like that. And so it feels a little bit like the older someone gets, they are a part of the establishment. So like the fact that they're really trying to get these unknowns, that makes me, I don't know, it feels like the spirit of where the show came from.
Right.
And so the more established somebody is, it's hard to remove somebody to be like, oh, that's Alec Baldwin doing Trump.
Yeah.
Instead of just like a kid in great makeup, who I think James Austin Johnson does a fantastic Trump.
I agree. And same when they brought on Jim Carrey for Biden. I wasn't a fan of that either. It was like, dude, anybody can do that impression.
Yeah, just go to the fucking nursing home. If you need somebody to babble and be old, you could find them. They're all over the place.
Yeah, my grandfather could do that impression, you know?
There you go.
Or me. Either one. You got one? Do you go to Biden?
Yeah, but it's not. I realize it's not as good. I think the setup that I do for him is he's like lost on an airplane. He's one of those guys where come on, folks. Like sometimes if I have a scratchy throat, or if I've been drinking the night before, I can do it better because he always sounds like he has a cold.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's he doesn't talk that much in public. You're not used to hearing him as much.
Don't you think his voice, like his normal voice, sounds a lot like the fuck boy soft tone that you use to try to have sex with a girl voice?
I think he sounds like Pacino. He has that kind of,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, hoo-ah.
Yeah.
Isn't he from Delaware?
I'm Joe Biden. Oh, yeah.
But he'll also whisper too on lines that he shouldn't, where you're like,
Well, maybe he was. So you remember when Austin Powers was frozen all that time, and he came back and had a problem with voice modulation. This is for the first film.
Yeah,
obviously.
I love it.
Right? Maybe, like he's one of the body doubles that they just thought out.
He's really an Encino man.
Yeah.
could be.
Joe Biden, the remake of Encino Man.
Let's make Brendan
Squeezing the
Fraser.
juice.
Let's make Brendan Fraser president. Pauly Shore Veep.
Hey, Fraser's
fucking-
back, dude.
Dude, in The Whale, bro. I can't wait to see that movie.
B. Frage is back. They said he might be nominated for an Oscar.
I think he will be, actually.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing. I'm calling it. I think he's gonna. I think he might be him and Austin Butler. I think are front runners. I really think from what the film has been received and him specifically. You know, it's a popularity contest, but also I think that Brendan Fraser is one of those people who's just beloved by everyone.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's back, I think people are just want to support and celebrate his career.
I think so too. I did like the Austin Butler kid and Elvis. I was a big fan of that movie, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a hard thing. The fact that he sang. And all that stuff, they want to reward that, and obviously we have such a infatuation with Elvis in this country.
Well, it was weird that Rami Malek, they won a sound editing award for that. All they did was play the original goddamn songs.
That's it.
Can I tell you, there's actually a guy, I'm not going to know his name, but he sang a lot of it, and he contractually was not allowed. They have him listed in the credits, but they don't have anything specific. And I've heard the guy sing live, and Queen's my favorite band.
Sure.
And I could tell, even the best impersonator, I could tell if that wasn't the take they used. Like, that's how well I know the stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's as good as I have ever heard as that guy.
Well,
as Freddie.
Behind the scenes, I know this. There was another script that was supposed to be Sacha Baron Cohen.
It was, and Brian May was like he said he was trying to make it all about them and not Freddie, and so that's why Sacha
Right.
pulled out.
And he was like, well, look, would we even know Queen if it wasn't for
No.
Freddie? I'm sorry, we wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
And so they ditched that, scrapped it at the last second, but they had the buzz and the frenzy and everything else, and they were like, well, we got this other script. Let's jam this out as fast as possible.
100%.
Homeboy didn't even have time to grow the mustache. Even the mustache was fake.
It was, yeah.
They glued it on.
Yeah.
Because they just didn't have time
Yeah.
in the end. They wanted to push the movie out, and then it accidentally explodes, makes $1 billion with a B, and then he wins an Oscar for it.
Well, he's a great actor. Right? His performance is great.
Incredible. The movement itself,
Yeah.
even if you take away the voice,
Yep.
to him at Live Aid, like you go back and watch that. I mean, he is really like move perfect.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a musical. He's doing the dance.
Yeah.
That is that a replication, or to replicate what he already did. So it's like, he definitely deserved it. You know what was funny though is Taryn Edgerton doing Elton John the next year, who sang and did it, and they were like, we're not going to give it to a musical guy 2 years in a row. So he didn't even get nominated for an Academy Award.
I was a huge fan of that movie.
I was too,
Yeah.
and he was really fucking good.
Yeah.
And that's way harder, I think, than people realize. And Elton has such a specific voice.
Yeah, and the one that's coming out this Christmas is Whitney Houston. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer.
My friend produced it.
Oh, no shit. How hard was that to get?
I mean, nobody's going to be able to sing.
That's
like
what
that.
I
There's no
thought
fucking
too,
way.
man.
That's one of the reasons I think that they don't do Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Because I just think that and they have, I mean, think about it, John Bonham dies at the height of their fame. And it's like there's such a story that's there, but I just don't think they can get anybody who can really do Robert Plant.
There's a band that sounds identical to him.
Yeah, it's called
Greta Van Fleet.
Greta Van Fleet, yeah.
That lead singer sounds.
Did you ever hear him talk? He goes like,
I have never heard him talk.
Dude, he goes, I'm really like a Steven Tyler type guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I love Steven Tyler, but you fucking sound like you heard Robert Plant, only Robert Plant for your entire existence. And then he's like, yeah, I don't really like Steven Tyler's more my vibe. I'm like, well, not according to my ears.
Right.
No,
And
he sounds.
Even Robert Plant was just like, it's a little too on the nose.
He goes, I think this guy's. Yeah, he's like a bit a little. But he also, I think that he's good. But I've heard him sing Led Zeppelin songs. He's an amazing singer, but there's something a little extra about Robert Plant.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And he walked.
Great singer, though. Singer.
He walked off on top where he was just like, we're the best. Try to beat these albums, and I'll see you later. And that was it.
And he did his solo stuff, which I really like. And he
with
did,
Alison Krauss.
That was much later, but he did really early, like sort of electro tech, so electronic stuff from the early '80s that I really like. I'll share with you. I'll get it after and play. There's a cool fucking song that I really dig. But yeah, he's great. I mean, it's hard though because you got to think with the Whitney thing. She is as iconic as a voice as there is. And to just get somebody who even looks like her, because that's the problem, right? If it doesn't look like them, like it was weirdly enough, did you guys see the MLK movie, Selma?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
So I thought that guy, by the way, unbelievable actor. I love the film, but he didn't sound like MLK.
No.
And MLK,
That seems like the most important part.
Yes,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's how people knew him. There wasn't TV to a lot of people in America at that time. And the I Have a Dream is arguably the most famous recorded speech in the history of mankind.
Yep.
And yet when he did it, you're kind of like, you're great, man, and I'm loving this film, but you don't really sound like him.
Same with the Tupac one, by the way. The guy looked identical to him, sounded like a totally different human being, and I couldn't get into the goddamn movie at all.
It's a weird thing. If you're going to do a biofilm, it's why I think people really celebrate The Doors. Because it's like do a biofilm, and going back to Austin Butler, it's like you want to do something. If you're going to do the biofilm, you got to hit those points, even if it takes you 20 years to make the film.
Right.
Instead of just like churning them out like a factory.
Well, speaking of films, you do the best Anthony Bourdain in the business.
Thanks, baby.
I think they will probably make a biopic on him someday. There's a book coming out that was announced this morning.
Yeah.
So it's about his final hours. They've got over 80,000 emails, text messages, all kinds of shit. I don't know who gave it up.
So
if it was the
they
wife.
think it's the ex-wife. That's what the article that I read said.
Okay.
It's not been proven, but she is the executive of his estate, and those messages fall under the estate. So if
got
it wasn't,
got it.
like, and she hasn't, and maybe she will make a ruckus about it and be like, I didn't approve this stuff, but right now it's her.
So it's like the last hours of his life involved this younger woman he was dating and a bunch of other shit, right?
Yeah. So
And their correspondence.
Yep. And one of them is I hate myself. I hate my fans too. I hate being famous. I hate my job. I mean, there's a ton of it in here where you're just like, holy shit.
I mean, he was depressed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing with a lot of this greatness, and that produces these artists that produce that are so compelling and magnetic to us. Like the depth of him, you never know. You're watching a travel guy live the life that most people want to live, and so they sort of ignore the foundation that's sort of underneath everything. And so I think the guy obviously struggled with addiction his whole life.
Yeah.
So there was a lot there. I just don't think that was sexy or marketable. And when he was doing a travel thing that everybody goes, oh, I wish I could travel more. I wish I could eat exotic foods and whatever. It's like he's hitting everybody's bucket lists for a living.
Yeah.
And so I think that, that's just, all that stuff is probably brushed under
Yeah,
the
but
table.
imagine life is about purpose.
Oh, I
ultimately.
agree.
So it's like he's reached the pinnacle that he's now doing professionally. Like people say, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. That's true to a certain extent.
100%.
But once you become so saturated with that stuff that it's no longer meaningful to you, that's got to be a fucking big dent in your psyche.
Well, he
You know what I
gets
mean?
there and it really at the end of the rainbow and kind of goes, oh, there was nothing. I got as far as I could, and there's nothing. And so, it's so tragic. Obviously, I'm such a huge fan of his and admire him on so many levels. And the fact that he broke so much later in life, that he turned down a lot of these crazy money jobs to do the thing, and it paid off for him.
Yeah.
That's so rare. He didn't break, I think, until he was in his 40s.
No.
And so I don't remember the
they've-
exact age.
They've got the last text messages here between him and the girl, and this was right before he hung himself. So he saw the pictures of her and the young dude out in public, and he said, I'm okay. I'm not spiteful. I'm not jealous that you've been with another man. I do not own you. You were free, as I've said, as I promised, as I truly meant, but you were careless. You were reckless with my heart, my life. Is there anything I can do? And she said, stop busting my balls. And he said, okay, and then boom, was dead a couple hours later.
Wow.
But wild.
Wild.
And I guess he was texting the ex-wife all the time.
Yeah.
And what he was telling her was, he was like, I'm hopelessly in love with this woman.
And the ex-wife is the executive of his estate.
Yes, because he was not technically divorced, so all of those rights went to her.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining this is going through her. But I think the brother came out and made a statement today that said, hey, we don't have anything to do with this. That's why it's unauthorized, and my brother didn't say these things, and blah, 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 blah. So we'll see. Bob, if you can pull up a picture of young Bourdain, because again, you've played a chef before.
Yeah, I did. I look a lot. I was going to say.
You look interesting, because he has an interesting
Wait,
look.
would you call that a chef?
Yeah.
Kind of like a line
Somebody who
cook,
worked
right?
in a kitchen.
In the kitchen. There you go. Pop this up on screen. So I'm calling for look at this. That's your hair, dude.
Dude, I definitely, that is what my hair looks like when I
You're that
grow it
skinny.
out.
You're that thin.
Bro, thank you for noticing.
Yeah, you look great.
I own that shirt.
Do you own the apron, though, is the question.
Yeah, I actually do own the apron. I think I wore an
Did you
apron
keep
to
it
the
from the
audition.
show? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And now the knife somebody else owns. Somebody bought that, and they did auction that knife up for sale. I think it was, who's the guy in Vegas, that Baggins guy who buys all the creepy shit from people who die?
Look at how fucking ripped he is.
I was saying, but you need to get this body.
By the
Well,
way, check my Instagram.
he's shredded.
Okay.
He's shredded.
I'm doing okay.
But the other part of this book, Bob, is he said that he was using a lot of steroids and a lot of other shit towards the end of his life.
Yes.
Because you can't look like that at what, 65? I mean, that's pretty much impossible.
Well, the way that he ate and drank.
I know, every day.
That was like the biggest problem.
He did jiu-jitsu.
Come
He
on.
did.
No,
He got
I
into
understand that. But that's not a jiu-jitsu body. That's an 8-pack, for Christ's sakes. Is that her, too? Pop that picture up on screen one more time, Bob.
Yeah, I would think this is Asia Argento.
Man, I bet she was crazy. Just a crazy blast. Where you just kind of put up with it and you're just like, all right, sweet. But at that age, dude, eventually it's going to end, right?
I mean, I think he spent, a good chunk of his life doing what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And, it sucks. We'll never know the demons because I think he was presented in such a cool way and it's like an untouchable way. The guy who beat heroin, and did all these things and sort of reached the mountaintop. It felt like effortlessly. And I think that having those addictions and beating them gave him so much street cred that people just didn't, they don't just go away.
Right.
You're constantly people I know in the program, and for stuff, it's like they're always battling that addiction. And so for him, it may have gone somewhere else that we'll never even know about.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that he drank. I'm not saying he drank to excess, but it manufactures itself, or it manifests itself. Excuse me, in other capacities.
They're saying he did that as well. They also said that if you remember the Me Too story with her and the young guy, where she fucked that minor who was 17 years old, one of her co-stars. And he came after them for some cash or whatever. They said it was a frivolous lawsuit. They said in this book that it was actually Bourdain who paid off the kid.
Wow.
And they said it was $380,000.
That's reasonable.
I guess the kid asked for $3.5 million, and then they settled on $380,000. He was also giving money to her and then some of her family members, is what they were saying. So he was all in on her whole shit.
Yeah,
across the board.
He's very supportive. I mean, you never really heard complaints other than that, but not about him as a person.
Right.
I feel like he traveled so many places, and he really was a public figure.
Yeah.
It felt like he was, a social media guy, but that wasn't born of social media. He had so much street cred from other things, but he just felt very accessible, which is why I think people liked just looking at him and watching and hearing him talk. And you feel like stories would have come out against him, and they just didn't. I think people that worked with him, and people really were a fan of him as a person.
If there were salacious stories about him, I'm pretty sure we'd fucking.
That's
know
what
about
exactly
it.
right.
I mean, it would be shocking for them to come out now.
Well, I think that's why this book will do so well is, people still are curious, and there's weird morbid fascination with suicide when you want to know what the last thing was or what actually made them do it. That this will probably be pretty fucking successful.
It's the call of the void. So there's a psychological principle where you're standing on a cliff and your brain, like there are people who their brain will shut off, turn to black, and just jump off. Right? It's a real thing.
Yeah.
But people are fascinated with that because everybody fucking tiptoes up to that line from time to time. You know what I mean? And you want to be able to recognize what it is for you. So you know, it's the same thing as anybody else. It's just a morbid fascination, I guess.
And also, if he felt alone, for a guy that people, when you make that assumption, like Robin Williams, you know, that they're constantly surrounded by love and support and people who appreciate them, but you know they're alone just like anybody else. And who knows if he had had somebody there, or it had been different, that he wouldn't have felt that alone in that moment.
I always go to people's like Twitter and then their Instagram and their stories and shit just to see what the last thing was.
Do we know what it was for him?
That's my morbid curiosity. Allegedly, it was that text that just said "okay,"
but not publicly.
No. Well, I mean, it will be public after this book comes out.
But I mean, I wonder what his last public social post was.
Oh, it was actually, I do know this because I went to his Instagram. So my wife is a huge Bourdain fan. You did a video for her.
Yes, I remember.
As Anthony Bourdain. And I went to his stories, and it was very specific what it was. It was a small TV in whatever country they were in. I think it was France or whatever. And there was an Italian movie on. And they were showing this like fast car coming around the corner. And it appeared to be one of her movies that she had loved. Oh. So she used to show him all these old Italian movies all the time, and it's actually in the documentary that came out last year or maybe a year and a half ago. I don't know if you saw it. It's really, really fucking good.
Was it playing while he hung himself?
I don't know, but I know this. When I went to his Instagram stories,
Better that than Triple X.
Oh, with Vin Diesel?
Well, with Asia Argento.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Vin Diesel too. Both will make you want to end your life in a Vin Diesel movie too. So.
Vin Diesel. I just finished smoking about a pound and a half of crack. I feel good, but my heart's really going fast and furious at the moment.
You know, he has an album where he sings.
It's so stupid.
It's the worst.
Oh my God.
My funny Valentine.
This is the problem with echo chambers and sycophants.
100%.
There's nobody around to be like, hey, bro,
100%,
that
bro.
shit sucks.
Bro.
Don't do it. Yeah. Do not release that. So 5 days before he killed himself, Bourdain retweeted this Hong Kong cover of Rising Sun Blues.
5 days before, that was
he
his last one.
retweeted it 3 times though in the same day. So he's like, yeah, this is what I'm listening to right now.
Wild.
Is it an upbeat song? Hong Kong Blues?
We'll have to listen to it after because if we play it on here,
we'll get dings.
I found his last story.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's just pretty ho-hum.
Him on set?
Shit.
Okay. Yeah, the one that I saw was the one with the car, the Italian movie before that.
So there's a whole Reddit thread where they're saying someone was being misleading about his last Instagram story. The story is Violent City. Is that the one?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was his second to last story he ever posted.
Okay, so that's the one I caught right before he died. And then, dude, by the way, so I remember going to Mac Miller's, and Mac Miller's was crazy too, where it was just a record, his own record, playing in his house on his stories, and he just 3 times in a row.
But he didn't mean to
was
kill
just
himself.
this one song. I know.
So,
yeah. But with Bourdain, obviously he did. So I felt like some of that shit was pointed, and it is what it is. And then I think, Bob, you can look up her Instagram. I think either today or yesterday when this book was announced, she posted stories of her and this young dude on her Instagram like 50 times. So that's even fucking strange for me.
And how are they doing today?
Who?
The young girl and that guy.
She seems like she's living her fucking best life there.
Still together?
I'm not sure if it's the same dude.
Yeah.
Pop that up on screen. That's it. That's the dude. John, you've been on the show. You know we got some sponsors that put the shit wagon on the air. First and foremost, ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Hopefully you're all tucked in, comfy, cozy on this Sunday evening, watching us on YouTube. If you're not, shame on you. Subscribe, click the bell, and turn on your notifications in the phone. That way you can see our lovely video from the comfort of your own ghost bed from ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Right now, they get 2 free pillows with the mattress. Those are 30% off. You can use the promo code Drinkin' Bros to get 30% off everything else in the entire store. Talking about the sheets, the adjustable base, the cover, you name it, it is 30% off. Fill up the cart as high as it'll go and use the promo code Drinkin' Bros at checkout for 30% off at ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros. Also, that bundle package, dog. It's the adjustable base and the mattress combined together is a beautiful way to watch television every evening. You can pop it up in TV mode and it'll do the work itself. Once you have it, you can never go back. I can promise you that. I've had it for 2.5, 3 years now at this point. I love it. Huge fan of ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros. And when you check out, go to the bottom of the page, click the 60-month pay-as-you-go program, no interest as long as you have decent credit. And then you can use the deals that I just mentioned with that and walk out of there with a brand new bedroom set for about $25 a month. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros today. Next up, we got drinkinbros.com, the store, baby. I'm wearing all the store items today. I got the Flex Fit snapback on. I've got the t-shirt. I got all the things at the store. We got new hoodies in there because a lot of you guys are in fall right now. We're not down here in Texas. We're still sweating our dicks off down here. But a ton of new stuff in the store. Don't sleep on the glassware, dude. The glassware is bomb as well. There's a couple items from Hard AF Seltzer in there. And the glassware's the jam, dude. Especially those plastic cups. Great for tailgating, great for parties. You can wash them, and they look like Solo cups. They're awesome. It says Drinkin' Bros Podcast on them. And best of all, every cent goes to support us and the show to keep the lights on in this place. We greatly appreciate it. Go to drinkinbros.com and click on the store and check us out. Last but not least, hardafseltzer.com. Store is down now while we put the new flavors in the store. It's going to be down for a couple weeks. Plus, our shipper is out of Florida. Obviously, we know what's happening there. So give it 2 weeks. We'll be back up and running with the new flavors, and we'll be able to get those out to the world, the pina colada and the watermelon. If you listen to those Super Drunk shows last week, obviously we tested them out one evening, and oh boy, let's fucking party, dude. They're ready to rock. They're getting filled as we speak. Now, if you're in the state of Tennessee, we are in over 90 stores. Just go to hardafseltzer.com, click on the store locator, and find a store nearest you. It's powered by Google Maps, so once you click the store, no matter what vehicle you're in, it'll just take you right there. So wherever you're at, it'll drive you to the closest store on there. Go to hardafseltzer.com, click on the store locator in Tennessee, and go buy a 12-pack, regular price. Cheaper than White Claw, god damn it, and they're 8%. So, they're just chilling, doing whatever it is he does. Some type of karate or...
Oh, I was going to say, is he wearing dishwashing gloves? I can't see at this distance.
How fucked up would that be?
That'd be unreal.
Or it's just him.
It looks like Tyler Durden from Fight Club,
Yeah.
He just got it out. He's making soap. He's like, yeah.
How much will we have to pay you to do a Bourdain and send it to her? That's the dude right there. Yeah, pop
And
this
send
guy
it to
up.
that woman.
But just DM her and be like, I don't know if you heard about the book coming out. I don't know if you
heard about the book coming out and the final days that I had. But I'm going to reach out to you, at least my ghost will. I'm not going to tell you when, but hang in there. That's all I say.
And you just send that video to enjoy your young lover.
Enjoy your young lover and his weird-looking hands. I know that he is doing the dishes, and I hope he's not doing you.
Pop it up, Bob. Look at that. Look at how happy they are. She's...
And when did she post this?
What, was it yesterday, the day before?
22nd August.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was
Last month?
August.
Well,
Yeah.
But she seems fine, dude. Everything seems...
So everyone, give her a follow.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what she hears every single day. And she refused, this is New York Post, she refused any comments on this book at all.
Yeah.
She wasn't going to say anything.
Of course.
Because the world hates her.
Hey, will you
because
write the forward?
of him. Me?
No, her.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, will you do the
It
audiobook?
just says, "Stop breaking my balls." That's
Bro,
it.
that's what I was just going to say. That was her review of it. Hey, book, stop breaking my balls.
Because they ask celebrities for that shit all the time.
That's what I mean.
Hey, just give me a one-liner
back.
for the back. Yeah. Stop busting my balls.
Lance Armstrong just said, stop busting my ball.
Yeah, just one.
Ball, yeah.
Do you do a Lance Armstrong?
No. I mean, every time I cheat, I do.
Yeah, obviously you have to.
Is there
I have a cheat
I
day.
don't know that anybody has a Lance Armstrong impression.
No, nobody does.
I don't even know what he sounds
He's
like.
fast. He's really fast and he's focused and he's just in your face all the goddamn time. Who are you working on these days?
I'm trying to work on Brad Pitt.
Nobody does a Brad Pitt.
Which Brad Pitt?
Really?
Film?
That's
There's like 8 of them.
There's
Yeah.
so many, and as he gets older, see, because he smoked for a long time, and so like for me, I'm trying to do Fight Club Brad Pitt, but he had such a high voice. I mean, it was in the 90s. So you think about, we've now seen him for 25 years of other films, even though I think that's probably still his
Longer.
top 3
I
most
think
10.
30
No, but I
years.
mean since Fight Club.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Since Fight Club, which came out like mid to late 90s.
It was 99, I think.
Yeah, so it's like you think about it now, for, 23 years later, it's like it's tough because now you think of him the way he was in Once Upon a Time. It's different, but the Fight Club, I feel like if I can nail it, it's iconic enough.
Yeah.
It's just that he has such a high voice. Yeah, he has such a strange kind of thing, and his voice or his jaw is very clenched. Like right, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to work on doing him because I think if it's for a joke that I'm doing on stage. And so it's tough to do it in the moment because sometimes if I work on it for a little while, I'm like, and I'm recording, I go, fuck, that's it. But then like to pull it out of thin air on stage, that's always the hardest thing.
You got to
It's,
get in the
uh,
zone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like make some soap backstage first and then come out and do it.
Yeah, just get ready.
Yeah, pour some fucking acid
Lie.
on your hand. or
Yeah, just pour
shit,
some
yeah.
lie.
Well, some of those mics are dead
shit.
too, and when you get on stage, if you do a quiet impression, they
Yeah.
won't pick up. So you know those are out.
But he goes, it's funny because he has such a high voice. He goes, I want you to hit me as hard as you can. So it's like, it's very high. Whereas now you listen to him and he's like, yeah, he's a much older guy. He's like so more relaxed.
Yeah.
So people used to hearing like this kind of like, hey, what's up, man?
It's closer to Sly.
Yeah,
Sly.
it's just he's lazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that is, it's like you think the older someone gets, the more comfortable they are, and it's just affected in their voice.
Yeah.
What about Brad Pitt impression from the movie Snatch?
Oh, that's probably going. I'd have to learn. Say he's doing character voice. I'd probably
Yeah.
come
Yeah,
in
yeah,
high
yeah.
character, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like.
You got to slur
I'm a
everything.
dog, I'm a
Say
dog.
words that aren't real.
Oh, I could do Jason Statham. He said, Tommy, Turkish, I thought you said it was going to be ready 5 minutes ago. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, very nice indeed. Yeah, all right, here's the deal.
That's a good one.
It's a great Statham.
That's the thing I have. It's so funny. Like I'll do them, and then I'll work on them randomly in my car, and like forever, and then I'll have one, and then he won't have a movie forever, and then not Statham. I mean like somebody else. And then like doing Sam Elliott or like doing Jeff Bridges. And then when The Old Man came out and I was doing Jeff Bridges,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, you just have them. But then because of the way that social media works today, it's like suddenly they're famous. Even though it's like, I do John Lithgow too. I've had John Lithgow forever. But it's like people, you'd have to say like Farquaad from Shrek.
Yeah. Well, that show got renewed, so
The Old Man?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they bought 2 more seasons already. Actually,
Dude, I've heard I got to binge it.
it was pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yep.
I haven't seen it. I know what he was. He was going through cancer for a while, but it's like his back teeth are missing. Bridges, Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is, man, it like depends on how, as he gets older, he kind of gets a little gruffer down there. But when you talk to him, from a, man from Big Lebowski, he's got a much higher pitched voice because he was a younger dude, man.
So like but it's always weird when you've heard somebody over so many years. It's like, which one are you doing of them? So I've done them forever, but now when I do them on stage, I do the Old Man.
Well, Sam Elliott's voice hasn't changed in 50 years.
No.
And he's never quite become a caricature of himself. He was always a guy who talked like this. He always did, even in Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in Roadhouse, he sort of does, because, when I do him, it's in the bass, but he also talks through his nose.
And now he's Mayor West on Family Guy.
Oh yeah. He
so-
took over for Adam.
West.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's funny to see the voice or to hear the voices over a cartoon character because he's actually a super slow talker, but because it's animation, he has to talk a little bit faster than he's used to talking.
I think they just speed it up in post.
You think so?
Yeah, on podcasts now, you can switch it to like a 1.5,
That-
2.
yes.
Speed it up, and I'm like, why would anybody want to do that?
I
listenability.
take Ben Shapiro, put it on 2x.
Oof, good luck.
And it's just like,
It's a dog whistle mode.
Yep.
Yeah, just do a bunch of speed and listen to that, and try not to freak out.
I was already doing the speed, so.
Veggie Beer is always like an '80s cartoon villain. You know how they sound? It always sounded a little bit lispy.
Like one of the villains from Inspector Gadget.
Yeah,
or
100. Like,
something,
I'll get you next time, Democrats. Next time. Yeah, but like all of those guys, like you think of like Thundercats, or like or even like the Decepticons.
You know, they're always sort of like this.
Yeah.
That was all the bad guys.
all the bad guys.
Yeah.
High-pitched and vaguely British.
Mum-Ra.
No.
Or like I am. What was the name? Like Monkey Man or it was like Slide.
Gargamel.
Yeah, from
the
Gummy Bears.
Smurfs,
Oh, from
yeah.
Smurfs. But I was thinking Dookie from Gummy Bears. They were always
Dookie from Gummy Bears?
Yeah, that was the he was the knight.
Oh, yeah.
They were always effeminate and lispy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Is
all
it weird
the
that there
80s
was a
film.
character on TV named Boner in the 90s? Because we all knew what that meant.
Yeah, R.I.P. R.I.P. He's another one that hung
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah, but
I mean,
I don't really care about that.
well, some people say he's more important, you know?
I
Who? And who
Boner-
are those people?
Boner or Bourdain? There's a huge Boner versus Bourdain debate online.
That's
dude.
the movie I want to see. You know how like they do those weird ones where like the late nights are like Leno versus Letterman. They
Yeah.
do like those miniseries.
Yeah.
Boner v Bourdain.
Or if they ran into each other in a Pulp Fiction type way, and at the end, and then you find out that Boner was Bourdain.
Was that the character's real name, by the way?
Yeah, Richard T. Stabone, and his name was nickname was Boner.
Boner.
Yeah, it's amazing that I still remember that.
Yeah.
But it was only because somebody made him do cocaine in that one episode, and the
Family Ties.
Mike Seaver had to go home and tell his parents
Yeah.
that
Growing pains.
Growing
Growing
Pains. I
Pains.
meant. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
that Boner was doing coke, and then Boner had to come to the house.
What did you
and
expect? You
apologize.
called the kid Boner his whole life, man.
I agree.
By the way, how is that so funny that the guy doing coke dick, Boner, he just got more deflated.
They just, I've never been able to make sense of that one.
Or how they got away with it.
Like 90s TV was definitely different. There was a lot of weird shit going on.
Sure.
but-
You mean Alf?
Alf fucked kids.
yeah.
Dude,
Well,
no, he ate pussy.
he ate
He
cats.
ate pussy
Yeah,
and then he
constantly.
fucked kids.
Willie.
dude.
Yeah, and then the guy who played Willie was like, "No, Alf." Yeah, he's always having a heart attack.
Sure
or
was.
Charles in Charge, where the guy comes with the place.
Oh yeah.
That was so. Hey, it's
That was Bayo, right?
It's yeah,
Scotty B.
It's a nice brownstone, 5-bedroom, 4.5 baths. Obviously, right? I understand you've got 3 children.
We do.
There's
Young
a
women.
21-year-old man that comes with the place. There's nothing we could do.
Like a
about it.
groundskeeper.
No, he's going to take care of your children.
So he lives in the place.
Lives-
Well,
in
he's
place,
going to be
yeah.
in charge, and that's what's going to happen. So Charles is going to be in charge.
So he owns the house.
No, just going to be in charge of you.
he just comes with it, but you can't get rid of him.
You can't get rid of him. He's not on the deed either. We've checked that. Not on that deed.
So like a ghost that
Nope.
just haunts
No.
the place.
No, it's just a real live man who's in charge of you.
A real live man.
Yeah. And then there's a hot younger blonde daughter in there, Nicole Eggert, who's just going to kind of hang, and nothing's going to happen there.
And he's only going to give her advice about other dudes.
That's it. That's all he's going to do.
So he's gay.
No, he's completely straight. Completely straight. Yeah.
And how much is the house without him?
I think 1.2
It's an extra.
at the time.
It's an extra $200K.
Exactly.
Well, I guess he's in charge.
And he's got a weird ass friend.
Yeah, Buddy Lembeck.
Yeah.
Sure does.
He's always like, and we used to do imitations of him just going like, Charles, the girls. He always, dude, that guy, Willie Ames.
Yeah.
Willie Ames. Fuck, dude. What happened to Willie? Is he alive?
I'm looking him up now.
We're talking about boners and Willies.
He's
today.
yeah,
Drinking
let's
bros.
look up Willie Ames.
He's
Is
5'6", so not a lot's happened.
Wow. 5,
I was unaware.
6.
He's still
unaware.
doing B stuff, I guess.
But by the way,
or-
good for him.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
We
Making
think
money.
about Matt Damon or we think about whoever who's been around forever.
Sure.
Dude, the fact that these dudes are still in the business. I mean, he was on 8 is Enough.
Oh, Matt Damon?
No, Willie Ames.
Oh, Willie Ames? Oh,
Yeah.
shit, you're right.
Dude, he's been around forever.
God
the fact that
damn
he's
it,
still
dude.
working is unbelievable.
It is crazy. It is
He was
crazy.
on
I'm doing a little Charlie Day for you there.
yeah, it was nice.
Hey, what's up, dude? He's like, Frank, can you believe Willie Ames still working, man? I can't believe it.
How about fucking Ryan Reynolds?
Hi there.
Yeah.
Hi there, boys and girls. Hugh Jackman's gonna.
You believe that shit?
I can't. I'm hard right now.
The internet made it happen, What people are doing is just calling the biggest social media stars and saying, all right, how do we make the most money?
But their best,
I know, but they created it online on Twitter, and then the world made it happen. He's going to be in Deadpool 3.
But also the fact that Wolverine is the only mutant that works from those franchises, where people are like, Old Man Logan. In any story you put him in, like, let's just give him
Drama,
Wolverine.
comedy, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yep.
People love his interpretation of the character, and he's been doing it since 98 or 99.
Yeah.
And so that's my problem is Marvel has fucked themselves because anybody that comes into those shoes after him is being set up to fail.
Yeah, the only way to even, like, if you wanted to bring in a younger actor, the only way to do a younger Wolverine is to go back to, like, the 1800s, I believe.
Yeah, when
or
he
something
was
like that.
young,
Yeah.
but he got his powers at a certain age, and then he didn't age. But the only thing that I didn't like about Hugh Jackman is Wolverine is supposed to be a pretty short guy. And so I always thought that if they did, the one improvement they could make is if the guy was like 5'3" or 5'2", and then have like a really stocky dude.
A little jack dude,
Yeah, a little
running around.
jacked. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think that to me would be like a direction that they could go where it would be different enough where he wouldn't, it would deflect not all of it, but a lot of the backlash that is headed his way no matter what.
Oh, of course. And the reason I bring him up is he's the same as Jamie Foxx. He's got a million goddamn things that he owns.
Ryan Reynolds does,
sold aviation gin for what, $350, and then if I think there's enough bottle sales where it'll add up to $450 if he hits a certain bottle amounts. The other show that I'm watching is this Welcome to Wrexham.
How is it?
It's great.
Cool.
It's so fucking good, but it's a serious documentary about him and Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny.
I thought it was a sitcom.
It was not. So they buy a real fucking soccer team
in Wales.
Right, but it's expensive. When you watch the show, the field is nice, and the groundskeeper ends up fucking up the field, and it costs him $400,000. They own the stadium, they own everything.
They own that groundskeeper now.
Well, he's not there, and then they didn't do well the first year.
He's there, Charles.
Yeah, the show is crushing.
He fucks up the ground, and at the end of the episode, it just goes.
If you listen sometimes at night, you can still hear him cutting grass.
Dude,
yeah.
I think he's buried there.
But if you watch the show, the craziest part about it is this whole city is behind these two guys who created It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Deadpool. People are wearing like Deadpool outfits to the game because they saved this city's franchise. The franchise doesn't do well the opening season, and they got to get on the phone and fire the coach and half the players and shit, and you're just like, whoa.
I like that because the next step is for other people like Jake Gyllenhaal needs to get with Hugh Jackman and buy the rival team. So they can start fucking with each other.
Wow.
Because those
They don't
guys
have
love
enough
fucking
money.
with each other.
They don't have enough money.
There's no way Hugh Jackman does
Hugh
it.
Jackman,
He's rich as shit.
Come on, dude.
Gyllenhaal maybe not, but he comes from money too. Like his parents are rich.
But it's always the franchise that's the real money, and Hugh Jackman's done enough franchises.
yeah.
I think so. But even Rob McElhenney during the show opening episode was like, look, I couldn't afford this on my own just because the costs just keep going up and up and up. And he goes, dude, I had to call Ryan. And he's like, let's face it, Ryan's got a gajillion dollars. Like he's, got the Deadpool money plus the gin money and everything else. And he goes, I don't have that. And he even admitted opening episode, he goes, we weren't friends. He goes, I didn't know him in real life. We only knew each other on social media.
Yeah, I heard that. He said that in an interview.
And I was like, what?
You know what's the crazy thing about Ryan Reynolds is you think about before Deadpool, like, not that he ever came and went, but like he had tried, Green Lantern, all these other things. And it's like, man, but if you get
Well, he had been in
one of
Marvel
them-
before. He was he played a version of
Deadpool in the Weapon X.
But like I guess he had like 3 scenes where he actually spoke and they told him shut the
Wade,
fuck up
yeah.
and then sewed his mouth shut.
Yeah, because that was the problem. That's the thing where these comic book characters, I think the fans get so rabid because if you do them well, like that's the example of Deadpool in that version just wasn't done very well, and it's like now try to do him like the real version and fuck. Now
I mean,
we
they
have a
should have just
franchise.
let Ryan Reynolds be himself the whole time.
Well,
'Cause
Van Wilder,
Yeah, that's who Deadpool is. There's no replacing that character.
No, well, that's
Ever.
the thing is when he's done. But the good thing is he's never going to get old because he wears a mask.
Yeah.
So essentially, like you could have him do the voiceovers for
That's
that
true, yeah.
for as long as he's
Forever.
alive.
Yep.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
AI when he's dead, and that's what I'm here to pitch. But
Well, have they asked you to do it for anybody?
I do it, but the truth is, it pays shit. I
Yeah.
did Seth Rogen in 'cause that's the other thing when you do somebody in a like when I do Tom Hanks, right? you got for stand-up, you do the most recognizable version, so it's like Woody from Toy Story. But when you have to voice match someone in a movie, it's not the most recognizable version of them. It's them in that movie. So when I'm doing Seth Rogen for the Disaster Artist, it's not like it's like he's just talking. So that's the hardest thing. But they really don't pay all that well.
So you did do Seth Rogen in
Yeah,
Disaster
for
Artist?
pieces of stuff that they had to re-record later.
Was he unavailable or just didn't want to do it?
I think it was not worth his time, if I'm being
Shut
honest.
the
And
fuck
and
up.
they said they literally found me off YouTube. They Googled like Seth, because I said, how did you, because my agent, I know it doesn't, she has told me in the past, we never submit you for this shit because it's not worth the money for us to make 10% of whatever.
Right.
And so when I asked the guy at Warner Brothers, I was like, hey, thanks for the job. Like, I love Seth Rogen. You know, this movie seems really cool. You know, The Room, I knew of it very well. And then I go, how did you even find me? And he goes, I literally just Googled Seth Rogen impressionists.
No
on YouTube because I
way.
find you off YouTube.
There you go.
Why wouldn't he do it? I mean, I think he produced the fucking movie.
He did, but I think he was already overseas at this point doing another movie. And for him to like start going into the booth and like running it back, I just don't think it was. And I think that they thought if maybe if they couldn't, and I was happy to do it.
Yeah.
If they couldn't find somebody, like there's people out there that maybe that people think that there's like a great Chris Evans impressionist, but then when you hear them back to back, you're like, you know what? These actually don't sound like Chris Evans.
Right.
So then they go, we need you. But I think maybe if they were like, if we can find a guy who can do it close enough, we don't need to bring him into it.
Did they ever tell you at any point you're easier to work with than Seth Rogen is?
No comment. No. I mean, listen. You never know how people are. I only speak with people that I have worked with, and he and I. The one time is so like he's heard me do the impression of him a ton because I've gotten very close. And then the feedback that I have heard, whether it came from him or his team, is we don't think that you sound like Seth Rogen. So I said, but
It's identical. It's better than you do a better Seth Rogen than Seth Rogen does of himself.
Are you hearing that? His entire team?
Yes.
And so I've got in the rooms with people where like the producers are like, we love you, and then the feedback they call the agent, they go, he didn't get the job, and they go, and the feedback is like, we just didn't think that he sounded enough like him, and that's okay. I get it. I think that somebody, because for me it comes from a place of love. Like I really appreciate Seth Rogen. I enjoy what he's done with his career, and I enjoy his movies. Right. So when I'm doing the impression, it really isn't like to try to make fun of him. But I was at a party one night, at a birthday party, and it was very private, and nobody had their phones out, and everyone was getting, drugs and hammered and everything. And Seth Rogen was across the room, and my friend who knew us mutually was like, has Seth ever heard your impression? And at that time, he was high. It was very public information. He was smoking. Everybody was smoking. I'm like, the last thing Seth Rogen wants at a private party where he thinks that there's no weirdness, where everyone is doing hardcore drugs and drinking their faces off, for a random my face, not even like an attractive girl or somebody he's like friends with, somebody he'd be pleased to see, come up to him when he's stoned and be like, this is what you sound like. I know we've never met before, but I have been vocally stalking you for quite some time. So
I've had dinner with him for it was 2 hours. I had dinner with him. You sound better than he does. So for his reps to say that is totally bullshit,
I don't know I don't know where it came from. There was feedback from the top. You're never quite sure if it's from DreamWorks or from whatever. You never know. I was happy and thankful to get as far as I did. They were incredibly nice to me. The producers laughed at all my dumb laughs or whatever I was doing. They were very, very kind to me, and then I just didn't get the part. So it could have been that there was somebody else out there. Maybe they didn't want somebody to sound like him, or maybe there was a guy out there who does it better than me. I'm not saying one way or the other.
I haven't heard it. I've never heard it before you.
I've been doing this one for like 15 years because I learned it right after I saw him do 40-Year-Old Virgin or Knocked Up, one of them, and I was like, because nobody had done him, and he was so young, and I would used to tour doing stand-up in Canada before he was big here, and they would love it because he was Canadian, Vancouver, so they all knew him and loved him. And when he finally hit here after he did the one with James Franco about North Korea.
Yes.
The interview.
Yeah.
The interview. And then when I did it, people were like, oh shit, that's that guy. But it's like, dude, he was so famous forever in my mind.
Yeah, same.
But then when I was doing stand-up, when I would do it there, then people were like, "Oh shit, that's Seth Rogen."
Yeah, because all of his shit was great. Pineapple Express.
I love Seth Rogen.
The Disaster Artist was a great film. I think Bob, look it up. Somebody was nominated for an Oscar for it. Was it Franco?
He wasn't. It was the year that his Me Too stuff came out, and he actually was nominated for a Golden Globe, but they didn't nominate him for the Oscar. And
that's right, because it came out right
Timothy
after.
Chalamet was then nominated for Call Me by Your Name, and it was they weren't sure. I mean, not Tim was amazing in that, but I just don't. I think that he was probably I think James would have been nominated.
Yeah. Yeah. Did anybody ask you to do voices for like cartoons, like Family Guy and stuff? When
I did Alec Baldwin on Family Guy.
Did you really?
Yeah. When the Emmy episode, because they never get nominated.
Yeah.
And so I did. And they were so. What's up?
M.E.
That's
was
right.
Really funny.
Yeah, that was such a good episode, and I played Alec Baldwin, and it's on every now and then, or somebody will send it to me.
I've never heard it.
And I just went like, it was great. I mean, it was really funny where like they tried to like make them like Modern Family, and they tried to do all these shows that have been nominated for Emmys or like Breaking Bad or something. And then at the end, when they came home, Alec Baldwin and Tina Fey were in their house, and then Alec Baldwin was just like, Peter, you don't get nominated because you suck. Your show sucks. Actually, and so it was great. And then I was just like, it was really fun. They were fucking awesome. I love those guys over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane's great.
I never met him. Alex Sulkin, who's the other big producer on the show, he was the booth operator at the time, and he was awesome. They were just so friendly, so cool.
Yeah. It's one of those places where you're doing something like that is such a fucking blast, and then it's just VO work because you're not drawing the goddamn cartoon. Yeah. So you're going into a booth a couple hours a day, and it's fun, and then you can do whatever you want.
And it's funny, and it's a hit. That's the cool thing about that. Like they make fun of everybody. It's not. It feels like, and I love and I used to do a Rush Limbaugh impression forever.
No shit.
Yeah, forever. And it's one of the reasons that when I first met Jamie, he loved my Rush Limbaugh because I was like, I used to joke about Rush Limbaugh trying to buy the St. Louis Rams because he said it was the closest thing he could do to own black people. And so Jamie, I remember when
that's a good deep cut too because he's from Missouri.
I know he is.
From
And
Cape
so
Girardeau.
let me tell you something. Him and Glenn Beck are from the same place, near the same area,
Yeah.
and I did not a charity event. It was like a corporate gig, and I got out there and did Rush Limbaugh for all these rich assholes who were very nice, but they were like, man, did they love Rush Limbaugh? And I go, you're gonna hate me for about 5 minutes of the set because I'm not gonna not do this. By the way, I said I've already been paid, so I don't care. And but yeah,
can we hear it? I've never heard it, and I apologize.
Oh man, it's been a while. He's been dead for a minute.
Yes.
I am Rush Limbaugh. He was sitting. He goes, the problem, Michael J. Fox. I don't even think Barack Obama is black. I don't even remember, but that one I have not done in a while. But I like when he did Family Guy.
Yeah,
I like that. But he goes, Brian, what you don't understand about us are, and he didn't even try to do an impression of himself. He just did, and I was like, dude, that's fucking cool. Like, because they skewer both sides, and that's what I really like about that show.
Yeah, it's great.
And it feels like, and if they're not in on the joke, they always offer the celebrity. They're like, hey, if you want to do it. And I'm sure they offered it to Rush because I also auditioned to play John McCain in that episode, and I didn't get it. And I remember thinking I'm like, oh, well, I can do Rush, and they're like, no, Rush is going to do Rush, and I was like, you know what? Good for him.
That's amazing.
Because Seth has been public. He goes, we always offer it. If we do Brooke Shields, if we do Obama, if we do Tom Hanks, they always offer it to the people, and then most of the time they turn it down. So they got to get impressionists.
No shit. Did you do Tom Hanks on there?
I didn't. He did Tom Hanks.
Oh, Tom
Seth
Hanks
did. Seth did it.
Oh, he did. No shit. How's his Tom Hanks? It can't be better than yours.
It's not. It's not. It's just not. He did him crying. Tom Hanks, that was funny. Tom Hanks did do The Simpsons. He did the Simpsons movie where they were in the dome.
Yes.
Where it's like, but I always think that Family Guy's obviously big. One day maybe he'll do it. I think people now doing it more, be a part of the joke. Like instead of Mark Wahlberg when they did the impression of him on SNL, and then he got on Jimmy Kimmel and was like, if I ever saw that guy, I'd punch him in the face.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, he's just, and then like his publicity team was like, dude, you got to go on SNL and be like, we know you were kidding.
Yeah,
because he got so angry about it, and it's like it's better.
But he's that dude.
I know he is.
He's pissed off about it, like all that shit.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they're doing. He's not going to be in it, but I think he's a producer maybe. But they're doing Ted now, like a series.
I had an audition for it this week, but I wasn't able to do it because I was here.
He's done a bunch of shit with Seth, but Family Guy has made fun of him for like 15 fucking years.
Yeah, but I think it's in a weird way because like they must know each other well enough.
They have to, yeah.
That it's like he's cool with it. Because, but it's also the impressions of Mark Wahlberg. And mine comes from a place of love, Mark. I just want to talk to you right now and the whole Wahlberger family. But it's like, but you hear he's one of those guys where you could tell people try to take the piss out of him in an impression.
Yeah.
And so it's like when you hear people do him on and on and on, at some point people are like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, you're all good. My best friend is on TED, by the way. Alana Ubach. I just talked to
Oh,
her
yeah.
2 days ago. She's the mom.
Yes, she is.
She's the mom on the show. She's like, it's a blast.
That's so fucking cool.
it's one
I
of the
said I
greatest
can't be
gigs
there, but
ever.
I'd love to audition in the future. And yeah, it's like him growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny. Like I got a pitch because my buddy knew the producers and they were like looking for this one guy, and the pitch sounded really fucking funny.
She said it's amazing.
Yeah.
She's just like, it's one of the greatest gigs of all time.
awesome.
She said Peacock.
It is, yeah.
And I think maybe 8 episodes or 10
Right
episodes
now
is what they're doing.
it's an 8-episode order, is what they had told me yesterday.
Yeah.
That's dope.
You'd be great on that. Anything else that you're in coming out?
Yeah, I mean, I did this. I next time I'm on, I'll push it because I don't know the exact name of it, but I'm now on a podcast series where we actually shoot the pilot Monday when I get back, and so it's kind of once we get the name settled on it.
Yeah, I want you to explain this to the audience because I just read an article about this. So Audible, and correct me if I'm wrong, is doing scripted podcast series that are either 8 to 12 episodes, almost like regular television, except for they're going to be podcasts only available
It's like
on Audible.
fucking C.S. Lewis. This is how he got famous.
Yep.
They took the entire Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
Broke them down chapter by chapter, and each week at Thursday night or some shit, a whole chapter.
Yeah, it was like serial.
And it was
serialized,
and it was
yeah.
him reading it. And then they
yes.
did the same thing with a number of other works. Louis L'Amour, remember that guy, the old cowboy dude? They used to do that shit. It was all on fucking AM radio.
Yeah,
we,
no, it was
we,
very
we
cool.
have one coming out in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Adam and Eve is doing it for us. It's all those romance novels for dudes that I did, but it's scored wall to wall. There's full Foley in it and everything. I mean, it's a movie without the picture, essentially. And that's what these series are going to be for Audible.
Ours is an interview type series where I play a different character each week from history. And they're really well written. And I did a test pilot like a few weeks back, and they focus on jobs that existed in history that people don't know about. And one of them, the guy that I played, was a funeral clown they used to do this in ancient Rome for like 1,000. I mean, it was unbelievable how many years they did this, where somebody of note would die and then somebody would impersonate them at their funeral. And like Vespasian, who's one of the most famous emperors of Rome, who built the Colosseum after Nero let Rome burn, at Vespasian's funeral, there's this really famous a funeral clown who was like the most famous of all of them, and so I played him for the episode. And so it's it's so entertaining. The writing is unbelievable on it. And right now I think it's called Odd Jobs.
Okay.
But then I would play a barber surgeon in the next one and talk about all the things in Victorian London about what barber surgeons had to do. And so it feels like a very interview type process that you're right there in the room.
Is the entire thing scripted or is there any improv?
There's both. You have to do the improv too. So it's
That's
like
great.
3 auditions, and then a producer's a callback, then a test pilot, and now the pilot.
Is the money good? Because I just read this article maybe 2 days ago. That was all I was wondering. I was like, is the money good for this? Chloe Feynman from SNL, she's got 2 of them.
Super talented.
Yes, she does a ton of impressions as well.
She's amazing.
She's
I've never
got-
met her, but I'd love to meet her. She's very
She's got
talented.
2 shows that are coming out on Audible as well. I think that's the future, simply because if you don't want to spend the money shooting a pilot, at least you have everything but the picture in there, which is the most expensive.
But there's rumors that they would then turn these into, they would see what worked and then turn them into series.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
that's
you're
what's
skipping
happening
the
on a lot of them.
process
Yeah.
where the production's...
It's so much cheaper
Yes,
to do it this way.
100%.
And then you let the audience go, well, we loved that one about cowboys.
Yeah.
And so let's make that one into a series.
Yep.
It's cool.
Well, I guess it's like understanding what makes a television show successful.
100%.
It's like the characters being likable or relatable, and then the premise of the show being acceptable, basically.
And
right?
this is one of the crazy, my agent asked me if I wanted to audition in the beginning, and I was like, this is one of the most interesting ideas, because you audition for a lot of shit that you're just like,
yeah.
But this one, I was like, damn, like it was so well written and so put together, and the opportunity to do a voice or whatever, to like make it my own. It's like you get so little creative, sort of freedom in any of this, and so this felt like just something fun to do. And
Well,
I'm happy to
pops,
have it. So.
and if it pops, it goes out to millions of people because Audible owns it. But I think they're putting it on Spotify and iTunes. And all
It's
this other
everywhere.
stuff.
It'll be everywhere.
Yes, yeah.
They have they have Smartless and whatever.
That's exciting. Yeah, Amazon Music. Yeah,
tons. There's so many outlets for it. So this could be like, if it goes well and pops, it'll be listened. It will be the most listened thing I've ever done. Including Two Broke Girls, which had millions and millions and millions of followers.
Yeah.
But this would be the one if it popped.
So weird, right?
Yeah, you never know.
It
dude.
is Weird.
So that's why I would do it.
I'm working on a project now. It's like the Bachelorette type show,
Yeah.
but it's at an orphanage.
Oh, I love it.
And it's like mockumentary style, and the kids are competing to get adopted. But
I-
it's super fucked up.
I will do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're going to be the dad, obviously.
I wrote a sketch one time where a kid didn't work out, so they tried to return him 18 years later. Yeah, in an orphanage.
I think Ari Spears did one too. No, I'm kidding.
No.
They got popped for that
But
kid
you
thing.
know what sucked is they did.
The
but,
lawsuit
like,
got dropped.
It
already.
got dropped because I don't know Ari. I do know Tiffany. She gives so much of her time and her energy. She's one of the most generous people you'll ever meet. It was bullshit, but the amount of people that dropped her, and she was very public about this, where she's like, my fucking deals went away, even though it was bullshit.
Yeah.
And then people are just like, yeah, but we can't touch you now for at least a period of time. And that fucking sucks.
The
man.
wait time's about 10 months now, I feel like. It used to be 2 years.
Well, it
It's
depends on
down
the
to about-
crime.
yeah, exactly. It's down to about 10 months.
we have a caller coming in, Kevin Spacey from Italy.
Or
Oh,
11
wow.
or 11 games.
Exactly. Yeah, with Deshaun Watson. Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
to, for the sketch, drop the 18-year-old off in this baby box.
Oh my god.
This is a real thing. You-
Where is that at?
Like fire stations and shit.
No way.
Yeah, you shove the baby in the box.
Was this their sketch?
No, this
No,
is
this
a
is
real
real.
thing.
This is real. This is,
Yeah.
This is
So
actual
you don't
place
want you
to
can't
put
leave them
babies.
out on the sidewalk anymore because there's all these fucking scooters everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Put them in the box.
Put the baby in the box, dude. That's what you do.
So they converted a bunch of blockbusters into baby delivery systems or whatever.
Somebody's got to do a Brad Pitt going, "What's in the box?" from 7. And you just hear, "What's in the box? What's in the box?" And you just go,
Yeah, and it's a real baby.
Oh, yeah.
It's a real baby. You're welcome. Now's the point in the show. We get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week, which is someone who has inspired you, helped you become the person you are today. We've got some listeners here who brought us some booze.
Nice.
Ask them, will you come on up here so I can give you a shout out on stage? We really appreciate it. You guys bring a ton of bottles of booze for us here in the new studio. We appreciate it. What's your name?
Josh
Last name?
Confer.
Wow, I'm not going to pronounce that right.
Nope.
"Comfer."
Comfer? Josh Comfer? All right, pop on in on screen here. Wave to the people. You bought us a bottle of American Barrels, Kentucky bourbon. Dan and I have to give the liver a few days off after Tennessee, but we will enjoy this over the weekend, and we greatly appreciate it. Who would you like to give the Drinking Bro of the Week to? Anybody want to shout out?
I'm gonna give it to my buddy I came with.
Oh, yeah. All right. Can you actually put a camera on you, Delco, and they can use that mic? Is that fine? Boom. Come on in, dude. Come on in. Boom. Go and sit next to him, and then we'll put you on. Yeah, there you go. Boom. Why not? Why not? We got the extra camera set up here. We're good to go. Georgie had to go to the airport and pick up our tent.
He's here.
Oh, he is. Yeah. All right, because they lost our tent, or they just didn't want to ship it. So either way, it is what it is.
Shout out to the wonderful 52-year-old lady who was working at that Southwest.
Why do you
Beverage
know
Counter.
her exact age?
Boy.
And how is that relevant?
Did you get her number?
I just wanted to thank her for a lovely time of treating my best.
Mother of God.
Her number was 12, but now it's 13.
Yeah, nailed it. nailed it.
Count the rings.
Pass the mic
Taste the rainbow.
to our friend behind you here. There you go. Boom. Mr. Comfort, tell everybody. There you go. Put the camera on him. Bingo. Who would you like to give the Drinking Bro of the Week to? What's his name?
I'm gonna give it to my buddy Colin that I came with.
Okay.
We've known each other for about 10 years. Served together in the Marine Corps. Went to combat together, and we just kind of been in each other's lives for thick and thin. So it's been good to have a friend.
Now
like
get
that.
down on one knee.
Exactly. And tell them what you really think.
Oh, there's been lotion fights and all sorts of fun.
A lot of
things.
broke back shit. I'm
Well, they were in their
assuming at one
Marines
point.
are super
Corps, so
gay.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we
absolutely.
appreciate the T-shirt too. That's in the Bro Box. That's actually my favorite shirt we've ever made.
I love it.
Yeah, exclusive to the Bro Box. Go to drinkinbros.com. Click on that store link, and you can get that. And hand the mic to your buddy back there. What's your full name again?
Colin Kester.
There you go, Colin. Anybody you want to give Drinking Bro of the Week to?
I'd give it right back to this guy.
Oh, you sure?
I know.
Closer to your mouth. No. There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's
right,
right.
right back over to Josh. He's the reason why I even know about Drinkin' Bros in the first place, and yeah,
Cheers. You drinking the seltzer?
always
What do you think, dude?
love it.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Done a lot of them. This one by far the best.
You're rocked already, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm like 3 in. He says, "Hey, that's 8%." I'm like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, the rest of the day's shot. Are you on stage tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, where at?
At Creek in the Cave.
Oh, Creek in the Cave. So go to Creek in the Cave and watch Jonathan.
It's gonna be a great one.
He
Best of
fucking
West.
crushes, dude. I follow him on Instagram. You're one of my faves. Again, you only post, clips that you feel are
You
good.
keep saying that you follow him on Instagram. It's the 4th time you said that. You've known this man for years. You don't have to say that.
I have, because I think there's accounts that need and deserve the followers, and you're one of those people where it's like I look at other people and you're like, how the fuck does this person have 300,000 followers? Like, I don't get it.
Nepotism. It's clear. They have Bitcoin money, and I don't.
I'm trying to slide it in because there's people I feel that deserve the social media love and then might not necessarily get it. You're one of those guys to me, and it's just enjoyable.
Thank you. I can't figure out what pops, because something I'll do will get a crazy amount of love, and then something that I think is better will get nothing.
Yep. Every single time.
But come out, Creek in the Cave tonight, and then I'm at Creek in the Cave and Vulcan and Eastside Comedy, Austin Comedy tomorrow, and then I'm at Vulcan on Friday.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it might. Who knows?
Well,
I was at Creek in the Cave last Wednesday and Thursday and Friday.
Were you really?
No, I mean if it comes out Sunday.
Oh, if it comes out Sunday, sure, for sure, yeah. How'd
Guys,
you do?
just missed me.
How'd you do?
I mean, I crushed. I'll tell you what I am is worth a follow on Instagram.
You sure are.
Jonathan Kite.
There it is.
Kite, you racists.
There it is. And then what about the old YouTube? You got a YouTube channel and all that stuff?
So I'm hopefully in 2 weeks I'll launch, and I hate that I'm saying this, TikTok and YouTube simultaneously for a project that I have coming out. That we're literally in with legal right now trying to get the name of it. So I don't know that we'll be able, so I can't announce it. But then everything will launch at the same time, and then those things will be in congruency with each other.
Perfect. Big fan. Thanks for stopping by.
Dude, thanks for having me.
Anytime you're in town, just roll by.
I love it. And
we'll be here
congratulations
for
on the
a
new
while.
space.
Thank you, man. Thank you. This took a while.
It looks great.
This goddamn place. Holy shit.
You guys, it looks great.
I appreciate it. Thanks, buddy. Check out Jonathan Kite. Also go to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review, as well as Spotify, but that's just a 5-star. They don't review. They don't have any text features on there, so you can just click the 5-star and throw your phone in the garbage can. For D'Anthony Holloway, Jonathan Kite, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin' Bros podcast. Good night, everyone.